Hi there, my name's
Hi.
Sarah Baldwin. I'm the recruitment specialist here for our Tri-C Workforce Division, and today we have with us the wonderful Ian Wilson. Ian, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name's Ian Wilson. I'm the director of the Transportation Innovation Centre, which encompasses many different programs, but primarily we do a lot of CDL training for Class A and Class B. But also within this centre, we also do the CDL testing for Class A and Class B as well. So in some sense, it's a one-stop shop. You can get the training, you can get the testing, all from the same location.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for being with us today, Ian. And what we're going to do today in this information session, we are going to talk about our CDL A and B programs here at Tri-C. We're going to talk about lots of things within the industry, the ROI for a student who might be thinking, maybe this is something I want to do, and what's in it for you, what kind of career you could have, the kind of income you can make, things of that nature. Then we're going to walk through our enrollment roadmap, explaining step by step how you would get enrolled in the program. So that's what the sum of today will be. So if that sounds good to you, then keep on watching and we're going to get started. I'm going to share our slide we have here prepared. Okay, very good. Can you see the slide, Ian?
Yep, I can see the slide.
All right,
Great.
wonderful. Well, do you want to take it from there?
Yeah, as we can look at this slide, it highlights the CDLA and CDL Class B training. Obviously, there's two different types of training. Anybody that comes and completes the CDL Class A training can actually drive Class B vehicles, but Class B CDL holders cannot drive a Class A vehicle. A Class A vehicle is a tractor and trailer. A Class B vehicle is a straight vehicle, whether it be a trash cart, a bus, maybe a dump truck, anything that is a single vehicle that is not towing a trailer above £10,000 is a Class B. So let's break it down. The Class B is the easier of the two training classes to take. Not trying to put anybody off. I'd rather be honest and upfront. The CDLA is a 4-week program, and let's call it an intense program because there's a lot of information that you're going to be learning within that 4 weeks, and then you'll test in the 5th week. But again, you have to be really, really dedicated and be prepared to go through a lot of soul searching before you come into this industry, because you work for whatever you get. For the Class A, as an example, you have two different lifestyles, but you'll depend on what lifestyle you want and how much you can afford or want to pay for your own benefit. Think about investing in your future, because the cost of the CDL Class A program is $6,000, which is a significant amount of money for anybody to find these days. The CDL Class B is $4,700, which again is still a significant amount of money, but you have to decide what lifestyle you want. You want a lifestyle where you're going to be home every day, or you've got a lifestyle that you'll be away Monday to Friday most weeks and just home at weekends. So you got to think about that before you start to even enroll in this program. The enrollment process, again, you've got to be really on top of it. We run one class every month, and we only have a maximum of 12 students per class. So it really comes to a first come, first served. If you get your information in and all the documentation that we need, then you can look forward to being in an earlier class than if you sort of hang around. One of the other things that you have to do for yourself is actually take permit tests, commercial learners drivers permit tests. For the Class A, you need to be able to take the general knowledge, air brakes, and combination. But if you're going for the Class B, it's just the general knowledge and air brakes. So you've got one less test to take, but it is purely and simply your choice as to which one you want to take moving forward. So again, predominantly the CDLB, you're looking to be at home all the time primarily. You're looking at jobs like dump trucks, cement mixers, road blacktop, bus driving, motor coach driving. They're all jobs that a Class B can be had. But with the Class A, if you still want to be home every night, there's opportunities there as well. But you'll be working more physically than driving, because you'll be working for companies like beverage distribution companies, food distribution companies, companies where you're physically delivering to retail outlets. So the driving is minimal, but the work is predominantly more. If you go away from home Monday to Friday, the lifestyle is that you'll be driving very little physical work. But again, to go away from home and be away from home, you need to have the family support to be able to be away and focus on what you're doing while you're driving around the country. Because if you haven't got the support, it can impact your concentration and impact the possibility of your being a safe driver out there if you've got lots of things going on in your life. Safety is the key. At the end of the day, everybody wants to come home to the family, which is important. As I said, we touched on the program costs. The CDL Class A said is $6,000, and that's a 4-week program that you will test in the 5th week. The CDL Class B is $4,700, and that's a 3-week program, and you'll test in the 4th week. Both CDL A and CDL B are non-credit programs. They're not, unfortunately, FAFSA eligible. The FAFSA is normally the Pell Grants and student loans that you get from the federal government. Because it's non-credit, they're not allowed to use FAFSA or Pell Grants to be able to support. But the college does support a lot of students through scholarships. And you can apply for those scholarships as you're enrolling into the program. And that's part of the application process. You may not receive full scholarships, but you have a chance of the various programs. Sometimes we have programs where the whole tuition is covered. Even if we don't cover the cost, if you are unemployed or been a displaced worker, you can go to Ohio Means Jobs, who will actually screen you to see whether you're a candidate for financial aid. And Ohio Means Jobs will also cover the full cost of the training. So I think there's some pretty good options there. We're not always saying you've got to pay out of your own pocket, but be prepared to. Because once you sign a contract for the training, you are then liable if your funding organization does not come through with the funding. So you are actually responsible for any balances on your account if any third party, whether it be the college, whether it OMJ, or any other organization that has volunteered to pay your tuition, you will still be eligible and responsible for any outstanding balances on your student account before the completion of the program. This is the most important, I think, is just because you want to drive a truck and just because there's some good money to be earned, please think about it's not always the easiest job to do. And just because you want to do it doesn't mean to say that you can do it. So you have to be very, very mindful about your ability to take on a large amount of information and learn something new in a very, very short space of time. I don't want anybody to ever think that we're here just to take people's money. We want to make sure that you are making an informed decision before you pay any tuition for any of the CDL training programs within Tri-C. As I may not have mentioned, people that's coming out of the school from Tri-C, a Class A, for the first year on average, they're earning about $60,000, which is a significant amount of money, and it's a nice, reasonable living. Even the Class Bs are nowadays looking at anywhere between 45 and 55,000 a year. So there's still a significant amount of money to be earned. So I think it's important that you also think about this is not just a job, but it's a career. The more experience you've got, the more valuable you become to the industry. As an example, some of the top earners and companies that's paying, as I say, Walmart will pay experienced CDL drivers anywhere between 80 and 110,000 a year. That's a lot of money, even for this day and age. Again, Class B, depending on the company that you go for, depending on what bonuses, you can earn 60,000. Again, a good income for what you're going to do. You always find there's always potential, depending on the industry that you're working in, for overtime as well. But we're just trying to base these numbers on a normal work week. And I would say that, a normal work week is between 40 and 50 hours a week. Your job duties. This is really important, is that think about driving that vehicle as you managing a business, because that truck is earning money all the time those wheels are turning. So you are trying to maximize the return for that truck. So the more that truck is working, there's the potential to earn greater money, which also enhances your opportunity to earn additional funds as well in your salary pack. But also safety is key. A lot of firms pay safety bonuses. They want to make sure that their vehicles are safe, the general public's safe, and there's reduced insurance claims because of being safe on the road. It really is a career. Once you have a CDL Class A or Class B, you then become a professional driver. So you're not just a driver, you are a professional commercial vehicle driver. So be very, very mindful that you've got a lot of responsibility, and you can think of yourself as good as any other professional out there because of the rigor of the training that you're going to go through to get this license. This license is not given to you. You earn everything that you get. I think it's important to realize these factors. There's no shortage of jobs in the trucking industry. There's a shortage of drivers, primarily because there's a lot of retirement, a lot of people moving to other jobs outside of driving a truck. I myself have been in the industry for over 40 years. I'm not driving a truck now, but you learn other skills that revolve around having a CDL, which makes you incredibly more employable for other jobs within the industry, not just as a CDL driver. So again, this is why we call it a career, not just a job. How does that sound for an interview? I'm trying to sell myself as much as sell the program. And I welcome everybody that's watching this video today to ask as many questions, reach out and contact myself or the program for any additional information.
Wonderful. Well, thank you, Ian. That was really informative. I hope that this part helps people kind of understand what our program's about and what you can expect should you complete the program successfully. So I'm going to stop sharing this slide. And Ian, before we go on to the enrollment roadmap, I'd like you to give me an idea. Let's say I was signed up, it's June 17th today. Let's say I was signed up for the upcoming July class. What would my 4 weeks look like? Or what would the training look like? What is the day in, day out like in the class?
The class starts at 7 o'clock in the morning and runs till 6 at night, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So the idea is that we're trying to get people assimilated to a longer working day, because you're not going to have a typical 8-hour day just driving a truck. It could be 10 hours a day, it could be 12 hours a day that you're expected to be at work. So we're trying to mirror that, but also we're trying to think about the individual students having time to do whatever they need to do in their daily lives by giving them a Friday off to allow them to get any personal business done during that time. Because attending the program is important, because if you're not here, you're not learning, and continuity of learning helps to be successful.
Very good. So what is the facility like? Will they be actually learning in trucks, or will they be in a simulator? How does that
work? Let's go back. The first week, you will be in a classroom from 7 in the morning to 6 at night, Monday to Thursday. This is a mandatory 40 hours that, as a licensed CDL driving school by the state of Ohio, we are mandated to provide that 40 hours of classroom tuition. Then you get assessed at the end of that week as a final exam from all the information that's been passed on to you as a student, and you have to get an 80% pass rate before you can move on to the behind the wheel training, which is physically outside in our yard that we have, which is solid concrete, nice area. You'll be out there in whether it be a semi or a box truck, whichever it needs to be. So we only have two students per vehicle. So it's not that you should be standing around watching, waiting for somebody. The idea is to learn while you stood there watching, because you can learn as much about people making mistakes as well as people being successful. So you learn as much through observation as you do practical. Then after the first 2 days, which you've got to do, we've got to get behind the wheel time, a minimum period of time. Then we start mixing the training with going out on the road, actually taking the students out on the road. And again, there's only 4 students that go out on a road in a truck. So you could be all day out on the road, or you could be all day in the yard, or depending on what the needs are, you could be half a day in the yard, half a day on the road. So we try to make sure that you are getting the right training, and that you all start as a cohort. The expectation is that you all finish as a cohort, and everybody is expected to be able to be ready to test in the 5th week. We try to go towards the end of the 5th week. That way, if anybody does have anything that happen in their personal lives and they have to miss a bit of time, we've got an opportunity to make up that time in the 5th week before testing time.
Very good. Well, why don't we go, if you don't have anything else to share with this portion, that sounds pretty good. Let's look at the enrollment roadmap. So let's say after hearing this presentation, you're thinking, this might be this CDL, I want to get my CDLA. I want to drive the big rigs. So this is how you get enrolled in the program. Okay. So
what you've got to start thinking about is, you've got to fill in an application just like a job. We want to know about you. It's not that we're going to deny you the opportunity to come in the program unless, and the only people that we cannot accept into the program is individuals that have felonies of a sexual nature. I want to highlight that to everybody. we're just not allowed to be able to train individuals because the likelihood of finding job opportunities are very slim. As being a state institution, it's one of the requirements for the institution. We have to, but again, it depends on how long ago these offences were, and people can apply for special dispensation to the college, and that will be considered. That is not the programme's decision, that will be the college's decision. So again, filling in the application form is paramount. You fill in the application form, you can return that back to us. While you're doing that, you need to be figuring out how are you going to pay for this. Are you going to pay for it out of your own pocket? Are you going to go to an institution that's going to lend you the money? Are you going to go to OMJ that will fund individuals that fall into the criteria that they're looking for? You can apply to the college for any potential scholarships. If you're already working and a company's willing to give you additional training to enhance your career within that organization, companies can pay for you just the same. We do also offer a payment plan, but that's 2 payments within before the end of the program. So that's a lot of money still before the end of the program. And that's again, arrangements can be made with the college for that. You then, if you haven't already started, you need to start and study for the CDL permit tests. As we spoke about previously, if you're going for the Class A, you need to be able to take and pass the general knowledge, the combination, and air brake tests. You have to pass the general knowledge first before you'll be allowed to continue on with the combination air brake check. Likewise for the Class B, you need to be able to pass the general knowledge first, and then all you have to pass afterwards is the air brake test. Once you're studying for that, you need to gather your documents that will be supported your application, i.e. a high school diploma, GED, original transcripts in a sealed envelope, your social security card, a valid state license, the Ohio CDL learner's permit, test results. As part of the program, we pay for the actual permit itself. So if you pass the permit, please let us know, but we will not pay for the permit until we've got funding in place. So once we've got funding in place, then you're really well down the road to entering into the program. You can email any of these documents back to the Transportation Innovation Centre at the email provided, transportation@tri-c.edu, or by calling 216-987-3226 if you need to schedule an appointment, or even to bring in your documents. You can bring them in as well as emailing them. Once we've got closer towards the class start date, we will do a mandatory DOT physical and drug screen. So we won't accept DOT physical and drug screens from outside entities other than what we arrange ourselves. Sometimes unfortunately, we've had people that have not been able to pass the DOT physical and drug screen. What we do, we ask them to follow up with their doctor. The guidance will be given by the physician doing the DOT physical, and we could probably reschedule it for a future date if you can get within the medical guidelines requirements for this program. Once we've got the DOT physical and drug screen out of the way, then we actually hold an orientation on the Thursday before the class starts on the Monday to go over generally the expectations, what we expect from the students, allow the students the opportunity to ask questions, anything that they're unsure about. During that time we sign some other documents relating to the program. which then it prepares everybody and say, well, I didn't know this, I didn't know that. It's an opportunity to ask questions before you come in. And you've still got an opportunity, if you feel it's not for you, to let us know that this is not for you because of I've thought about it. So you're not committed until the first day of class. Once the first day of class starts and you attend, then there's a small potential that you might get a refund. If you come the second day and say, I don't want to continue, then you may not be given any sort of refund. Depends on a case-by-case basis and the reason behind it. So I want to make sure that everybody's aware, because there's a $200 non-refundable component to the tuition. And the non-refundable is purely and simply to cover some of the additional costs that's gone into, such as the DOT physical and drug screen, for coming into the program. So I just want to make everybody aware of that. But these steps are very easy to follow. All the time you've got any questions, there's a phone number there. There's always somebody at the end of the phone to answer questions and help you and guide you through the process.
That's wonderful. Thank you, Ian. I have one question for you as a follow-up. Let's say I decided I wanted to start the CDL program. What's the typical, let's say I get my money together and my payment together and all that. What's the typical amount of time from approaching you or starting the online application to getting in? Is it something where I can get in like next month, or is it something where it might be a couple months out or even longer?
We're currently looking, as I say, this is June.
Mm-hmm.
We're currently looking to fill July and August. Most of July's already filled, but it depends on how quick you can get those documents together and how quick you can get your funding in place. Because as I have said earlier, first come, first serve. Whoever gets their documents in first and get the payment in first will get the seats. It's just one of those things, because we can't go on a promise of, yeah, I'm going to have it, I'm going to have it, I'm going to have it. When it comes to class day, oh, I haven't got it ready. So it really doesn't help students that want to be in the program, and we may have asked to be put back because people have committed, and at the last minute 3 or 4 people drop out. So consequently, we're starting a class with a lesser amount of students, where we could have filled it with students that were ready, but we'd committed and said, yep. And the individual students have said, yeah, I've got it. But at the last minute, something goes wrong. It may have been a family problem. It may be something out of their control, but we'll work with students and try and switch them around to another class in the future. Does that answer that question?
Yeah, that answers that. And before we end this, I would like to ask you, do you want to tell everyone a little bit about yourself? Maybe we probably should have started it that way. Like how did you get into the industry? Why do you stay in it? Why do you love it? Why do you teach it? What do you, what would you tell someone who's brand new into it? Like, what are the pitfalls? What are the good things you enjoyed about it in your career?
As I say, I first started in driving commercial vehicles in 1980. So I've been around a long time, but I'll also say that I've jumped in and out during that 40 years plus and tried other things, but I always come back to driving. You've got to like your own company. You haven't got to be codependent on having someone there all the time. You've got to be able to think on your feet. It's a great job and a great career if you are fully committed. It's not a job to try and see whether I like it, because that's a lot of money to be putting out to try. Trying is you've got to want it. I've done many things. I helped set this program up in 2008. I was the first instructor in this program. Now I'm the director. We started this program with 4 tractors and trailers. Now we've got upwards of about 30 pieces of equipment. So we've grown significantly, but the demand for training has grown along with it. So we've tried to increase equipment in line with the needs of students that's wanting to get into the program. It gives me the opportunity to, as I say, manage. I was managing trucks a long time before I was managing people. So it's about being able to make good, solid decisions. If you don't know anything, be prepared to ask, because asking is the most important thing. I remember the days where there was no GPS. You had to read a map. And it was, how do you read a map? People say, what's a map? I haven't got a clue. But it's one of those things that evolves. You used to write logbooks. Don't write them anymore. It's all electronic. So there's lots of things that's changed in the industry. But what's not changed is the decision making that you have to make as a driver out there. Just because you enjoy driving doesn't mean to say that you'll enjoy driving a truck, because it's actually a job. When you drive your car, you're driving for pleasure more often than not. So you've got to be mindful, and you've got to be able to plan. You've got to be able to plan how long it's going to take you to get from A to B. Which route am I going to take? So you've always got to be making decisions. You drive with a what if attitude. What if this happens? What if that happens? How do I handle it? And it's making those decisions that's important, and making the right decisions is the key to being successful.
Excellent. Well, that's a lot of good information. So thank you very much. And like Ian said several times during this presentation, if you have any questions, our contact info will be available. It'll be alongside with this video that you'll be able to contact us. So with that, do you have anything else to add?
No, I welcome everybody that's interested to come and talk and ask questions. I'm not here as a salesman, as I've said before. I'm not trying to sell you into the industry. I wanted to give you information that's important in making an informed decision as to whether this is the type of career that you feel that you could feel comfortable doing day in, day out for the remainder of your working life.
Awesome. Very good. Well, with that, thank you for your attention. And again, if you want to contact us, our information will be available. Thanks.
Thank you. Have a great time.